What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Standing in our most recent flip. This one's in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Really unique deal. This was a foreclosure situation and a luxury property, which we don't come across super often. But I wanted to take a look around, show you what the house looks like, and then we'll dig into how we found the deal, how we were able to structure this deal to be a win-win for both us as the buyer and the seller. And then we'll talk about what we're expecting to make on this one. So stay tuned. All right, so we're back at the shop. I want to give you some background on this deal and how we acquired it. And so one of our main lead generation sources for deals like this is the pre-foreclosure space. And so one of my appointment setters had reached out to this family, let them know like, hey, this is what we do. We work with homeowners that are facing foreclosure, and we can stop the auction, put some money in your pocket, move you on to greener pastures. And so they said that they had everything handled. They were going through a loan modification, all that stuff. And so she kept following up with them, eventually got to the point where they didn't really have any other options for them, and the auction was 2 days away. And so she brought the lead to me. I talked with the seller. I headed over there the same day, and we kind of laid out all of the options here. And so this family has a lot of equity in this property. They bought it back in 2016. White collar family. This guy was an executive at a large company, Fortune 500 company, and was doing really well until COVID hit, and his entire business unit got dissolved essentially. And so he was just struggling trying to find his footing, was doing some consulting work and stuff, but things just weren't working out. And so obviously the payments were starting to stack up. And they actually were able to get a second mortgage on the house to catch up the first lien, but with no solid income coming in, they still fell into the same situation. And so the house was in really good shape when we looked at it. Obviously it was lived in, there was 5 kids in that house. And so there was a little bit of deferred maintenance, just some scuffs and bangs on some paint and couple holes in the walls, stuff like that, some carpet that needed to be fixed. But overall, really, really nice property in a great part of Chapel Hill. And so I told him straight up, like, if you would have listed this house a month ago, you would have already had it sold. You wouldn't need me. But with the auction only being 2 days away, you finding a buyer for this house and able to stop this auction is not really feasible. And so we were able to structure a creative deal where I could come in, pay off their arrears, I would buy the house subject to, and build in their equity in second lien position to get paid out once we finish the rehab and sell the property. And so I actually let this family stay in this property for about 3 months while we looked for a rental property for them to move into. Once they moved in and I got the keys, we had the thing turned in about 14 days. We had carpet replaced, we did some touch-up paints and fixed some of the holes in the walls, stuff like that, nothing crazy, because it was in really good shape. And it's only a 2016 build, so all the major systems were in good shape. And so the purchase price that we came to with the sellers was $790,500, and that included the arrears. Catching up was just under $20,000, and I was able to give the sellers $10,000 at closing. We took over their mortgage, and we've been servicing that mortgage while we've been renovating the home. And so we have that house up on market right now for $890,000. All in, I think we have about $10,000 in renovations. And so after realtor fees, closing cost, all that stuff, we're looking at around $55,000 profit. But the beauty of this deal is that because the sellers have so much equity, they're actually going to walk away with around $350,000 in their pocket once we finish the sale. And so all of that equity would have been lost at the foreclosure auction if we weren't able to intervene, stop the auction, and capture that equity for them in this deal structure. And so I love doing subtails like this where I can acquire the house with very little money, take over the debt, and renovate the home and sell. We make a decent profit for the amount of time that we're putting into the deal, but the sellers get to maximize their equity when they're in a really bad spot. And so now they can land softly on their feet, transition into their next house, and we actually have some opportunities to sell them a house creatively since their credit's not in a great spot right now. And so win-win deal all around, and really excited for it. And so this one should close relatively soon. We're fielding lots of offers on this one. But yeah, so if you're working the pre-foreclosure space and you need help structuring deals, if you yourself are watching this and are facing foreclosure, I would love to have a conversation with you and see how we can structure a deal to be a win-win for all parties involved. And so if you have any questions, you'd like to connect with me, you can go to my website. It's adamsbuybox.com. You can fill out a form, we can jump on a call. I would love to work with you in any capacity. And so that's it. Another deal done, on to the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Leave a like and a comment if you find this content valuable. I'll continue to try to make these videos as much as I can, and look forward to seeing you in the next one. Peace.